Alright, what is up guys? Randomonium here. So we're going to be watching G2 versus Suning. So full disclaimer, I have watched this game. I know who won. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the match. But this game was so back and forth and so good that I feel like I have to review it. I wish that I had recorded it when I initially watched it. But this game is absolutely amazing. It's a real treat. It may even make like top 10 best world games of all time. So I'm really excited to show you guys this game. It's definitely one that you guys want to watch. It's definitely worth the 40 or 50 minutes this game is going to take. So G2, number 1 team out of the LEC. Suning, number 3 team out of the LPL, which is China. So Europe versus China. First bans wind up being the Caitlyn and the Shen. Nidalee also comes out. So SOFM, he is like super aggro, ridiculously aggro jungler coming out of the LPL. And he just, yeah, so I expect them to try and target ban him a little bit. So we see the Nidalee ban, the Shen ban most likely because they don't want to give G2 more map pressure. You also see the Lucian ban coming out, that's for caps in the mid lane. And the last ban that comes out is going to be the Lilia on blue side, another ban towards SOFM. So you see 2 jungle bans towards SOFM. And then we have the Ornn ban coming out, which is a pretty common red side ban. They don't want to give Wunder any like easy blind pick champions he can go towards. So we see the immediate Twisted Fate lock-in, blind pick Twisted Fate lock-in for caps. So this is a champion that fits really well into G2's style of trying to roam, skirmish, create pressure on multiple lanes. And yeah. Difficult to blind pick though, so that means that Angel will get counter pick into the Twisted Fate. So the Renekton does get locked in, so this is going to be Bin on the Renekton. Bin is like ridiculously good. I think he has like the most like solo kills in the LPL, so putting him on a lane bully like Renekton is pretty big. It's going to be interesting to see what Wunder picks in order to deal with the pressure that Renekton is going to have.
Pair up so incredibly well. Even on these picks that people don't traditionally think of as early game junglers, things like the Trundle, SOFM.
So the counter pick is the Syndra. So Syndra into TF. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So TF is all about that ultimate, and the ultimate can get interrupted by any type of hard crowd control. So Syndra has some really long range hard crowd control with her Scatter the Weak, which is her E. And we see a blind pick Graves coming out from Jankos. That makes a lot of sense because we get the Nidalee taken off the board, the Lilia taken off the board. The Graves is one of the other like huge priority picks coming in. And yeah, the Lee Sin makes sense because Lee Sin is, yeah, they're hovering the Kayn. I don't think they're going to pick the Kayn. It's going to be Lee Sin. You see the Volibear counter come out into the Renekton. And I think that's actually a really good pick into the Renekton. Volibear can duel Renekton pretty well in the early game, and I think the Volibear doesn't fall off as hard as the Renekton. So they do lock in the Lee Sin. I do think that Lee Sin is a bit favored in this matchup, and also Lee Sin definitely has some tempo advantage in the early game over the Graves. Graves typically wants to power farm a bit more. So you're seeing that they're setting up SOFM to really impact the lane's early game. Graves needs a lot of farm, a lot of gold in order to really come online. To take away the Kalista away from Perkz, yeah, Perkz traditionally is known for like crit, marksman, that type of stuff. And I guess they want to take away that aggressive pick on the Kalista. Thresh ban comes out to ban out Sword Art. So Sword Art was an LMS support for a long time, and now he's come over to LPL because LMS got dissolved. Just not enough money to keep the league afloat apparently. And the Twitch, I like these bans. I like these bans from Suning, banning out the Kalista and the Twitch. So we still got the Ashe is available. Ashe is available bot lane. You got the Ezreal, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I would expect to see a 4th pick. AD carry coming out from Suning, and they're gonna, so that way they can reserve their counter pick for support. Yeah, so they're gonna prioritize the Ashe. The Ashe is definitely the best power pick left up for the AD carries. We have quite a few AD carry bans coming out. So most likely Ezreal, I'm guessing. Ezreal is most likely counter to Ashe, unless they want to go towards a Jhin, maybe? Or a Senna. It would be another possibility, but they're going to go for the Ezreal. They go Ezreal Bard, so blind pick Bard. Mickey is known for having a really good Bard. So you're seeing Bard, really good roaming support. Twisted Fate, really good roaming mid. Ezreal, very safe AD carry in the bot lane. So it kind of leans to me that they may want to try and play towards jungle invades, and potentially towards top lane.
Yes, you can still set up and look to do that. But generally speaking, I think if you go Bard Ezreal,
and the final lock-in is the Nautilus for Sword Art. So Syndra definitely has the advantage early game versus the Twisted Fate. When you're going to get Volibear versus Renekton, it's pretty even. Lee Sin definitely has the advantage over the Graves early game, and then Ashe Nautilus should have the advantage over the Ezreal Bard. It really is going to be very dependent upon the Bard, how many Qs he can land, how many of those empowered auto attacks he can get. But traditionally, Ashe is just really, really strong in lane compared to the Ezreal. The Ezreal needs time to ramp up. He really doesn't start getting that good until he hits, 2 items. So that's the draft. Let me see if I can fast forward a little bit.
Not just G2, but also on Fnatic and just
Alright.
the game doesn't look like we're getting anything cheeky here at the level.
So, stakes for this game. So it's right now it is anticipated that G2 is the #1 team in this group, and the Suning is the #2 team. So whoever wins this game is kind of setting themselves up to be the #1 seed coming out of Group A. I definitely think that this is something that Suning could upset G2. Let me move my camera over now that we're actually in game. Okay, good. But yeah, I'd say G2 is definitely the favorite, being the #1 team out of the LEC and being the finalist in the World Championship last year. And Suning definitely has their work cut out for them. They're seeing a kind of standard 5-point line of scrimmage. You see a couple wards coming down on either side. Both junglers are starting on bot side and will be clearing towards their top side. Neither jungler is getting a leash, which is very interesting.
Then you may need to take that teleport to actually try to match, so you don't give up too many.
So basically, what this does is neither team knows where the enemy jungler is right now. So they don't know where Graves started, they don't know where Leah started. Typically, they would expect the Lee Sin to start on red buff. So they may be having the wrong tracking on him. G2 may have the wrong tracking on him. They may think that he's going top to bot rather than bot to top. So this would indicate to me that potentially that Suning is looking to counter gank a gank either mid lane or top lane at level 3 if Graves decides to go for 1.
Yeah, there's 17 teams with 5 people on each team. Quick maths, 85, not counting subs.
So Lee Sin's clearing his entire blue side, which will get him level 3 once he finishes off the wolves, because Gromp allows him to get level 3 off of 3 camps rather than 4. Graves did not clear Krugs, so he is going to get level 3 once he gets this Gromp.
You can see here in mid, Angel with the early control over the wave, Caps losing out in a couple of trades there pretty low.
So Ashe Hawkshot comes down to illuminate the Graves, so now Suning knows where Graves is.
Because the exhaust was forced this early, G2 really has got to stay away from any sort of all-in fight.
So because Suning has mid priority right now, that means that Lee Sin has the first move to get the Rift Scuttles that are going to be spawning here in a few seconds. So you can see that Lee Sin is moving to that Rift Scuttle. Sorry, the Scuttle Crab, not the Rift Herald. I don't think that Jankos can contest this. He's just got to give this up because Syndra's got the push. And SOFM is kiting the Scuttle Crab down towards mid lane. So that's one thing you can do is if like one of your lanes has priority but the other one doesn't. Like for example, you saw that they had mid lane priority but they didn't have top lane priority. Him kiting it down towards mid lane ensures that his main lane can roam to actually help him. So right now G2 thinks that SOFM is going for the bottom crab because he made that path towards going to go bottom crab. A really good adaptation from SOFM to back get a buy-in, and now he's going to go towards that bottom crab. So he's still going to get the double crab, but he gets a buy-off first. So now he's going to be back onto the map sooner in order to do another gank potentially. So I really like that adaptation from SOFM. That's really, really clever. He purposely showed on mid lane to convince them that he was going to go towards that bot crab, and then he faked them out essentially.
He fires off the vision plant, the Scryer's Bloom there just to make sure that the Graves isn't hanging around in Pixel Brush or anything.
So Graves looks like he's just trying to power clear.
And it's so interesting because G2 so clearly expected that he would be doing it that they didn't even go check, right? They're just like, oh, that's gone. We saw him move, from the top side through mid lane down into that bottom side brush. Of course, he's taking that scuttle, so they didn't even go.
So Ashe did a cheater recall. So what a cheater recall is that you're able to push out your lane. You can usually back before the enemy team can push the lane back to you, which means that you basically get a back off for free. So you basically get to reset your health and mana. You can get a buy-in. So he only got 2 longswords, so it's not a great buy, but it's basically for free. He's gonna get back to lane. He's not gonna have he's not gonna lose hardly any minions. So Grave comes in, he shows in lane. So I think that they're doing this because they want to be able to push out the lane so Perkz can get a reset off. But what this does is that secedes a lot of his pressure in topside. So you can see Lee Sin is pinging right now to invade. So this is what you want to do if you're a jungler. If you see the jungler show bot side, look for a topside invade. Try to steal away some camps, things like that. You can see the Caps is moving to protect his jungler's camp. So this is really smart by Caps. Syndra has not pushed the wave in yet. So, yeah, really good play here. It looks like SOFM is going to try and get the camp. Mickey comes in, so really good play from Mickey. Definitely did not expect him to be there that soon, and it winds up causing SOFM having to flash. So, what happened there was Graves showed bot side in order to get the push, so that way the bot lane could reset. But instead of resetting, Mickey went basically straight up to try and cover to help the Twisted Fate, and that wound up blowing the flash. Now Graves is coming up to try and get this. He knows that SOFM doesn't have smite, but he winds up going down. So that's first blood going over to Angel. I don't know why you would do that. So the reason I understand why he did it. So the reason why he went in there is because he knew that SOFM used the smite on Wool, so he wouldn't have smite for Raptors, but you don't have mid prio. And that's one of the biggest things as a jungler, you cannot invade unless you have mid priority first. So what probably would have been better is if he had gone to try and gank the Syndra, who's very low mana, force the Syndra back, and then you can potentially look for an invade after that. So he just kind of rushed it a little bit too much.
Made it so he could rotate over, pick up that free kill, and now that means Suning has themselves a 600 gold lead. Things were pretty much dead even right before that, so that is really the only advantage here for this squad, but it's a nice early pickup.
A little bit of a lull right now. This game really does pick up later, though. Trust me on that.
Early advantage in that 1v1 against the TF, so that's not really fun for.
No, I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, but my commentary is going to really be directed more towards people who are new to League of Legends or people who are new to the professional scene. I'm just going to try and explain things at a really basic level. And this is hopefully going to try and help people who don't really understand how League is played at a professional level, or maybe just new to League of Legends. So yeah, I'm not going to be giving you guys really crazy commentary at a high level. I'm really just looking to help those people who may be a little bit lost. So Ashe Arrow comes down, forces the Arcane Shift out of Ezreal, but doesn't get a flash. So no flash, gone. It looks like Sword Out burned his Ignite. Good job by Mickey to support the Graves right now. So Graves gets the red buff, but he has to use his smite. So now, because Graves uses smite on red buff, that means that Suning can go towards the Drake. And Graves will not have his smite available to contest at this first Drake. So it seems like what was SOFM's plan, was to try and force the Grave to smite the red buff, and then they can go to the Drake instead. The Twisted Fate ultimate comes out, but he gets interrupted. Sword Out gets away. Everybody gets away. So no deaths. So that was huge. That's really, really big. So I think Syndra interrupted the Twisted Fate ultimate because you saw the icon pop up, the eye that shows the Twisted Fate ultimate was popped, but he never showed up. So that indicates to me that most likely Syndra stopped his ultimate.
Advantages that its lanes have created, attacking the wolves, attacking the raptors, taking the dragon, knowing that they were in that winning position.
So yeah, they're showing this in the replay. So he pops the ultimate. Yep, there's the Scatter the Weak combo. Stops the Twisted Fate ultimate. If Twisted Fate had gotten his ultimate off, that's like at least 2 kills for G2. So yeah, that was a really great play from Angel to prevent the Twisted Fate ultimate from coming through.
Because this is when you have no cooldown reduction, you're at rank 1 ultimate, it's the longest cooldown, so it feels very impactful sometimes to set the pace of the game. Caps also, is going for that more defensive.
So Jankos is kind of in a weird spot right now. He's down. He's down CS. He's down objectives. It seems like he's struggling a bit against SOFM. Oh, this is way too aggro. You do not want to go under tower against a Renekton. He lost like almost his entire health bar there. Yeah, so definitely, I don't know if that was a misclick from Wunder or just he thought that he had more damage than he did. But that was a bit weird. Ooh, great job by Mickey to dodge out that hook. Yeah, he uses a magical journey to get out.
Yeah, they brought the bodies up here, Azael, but hey, the crab's already been secured by Jankos.
Will be interesting. I think G2 actually have an angle to go for this.
So the question is, will G2 try to fight for this? So they know that the Ashe is bot lane. They know the Ashe is bot lane. TP coming out from the Ezreal, so it will be a 5v4 for G2. Oh, the Bard Q misses. They get 1 kill onto him. They trade a kill. They get another kill on the Lee Sin. They trade jungle for jungle. They get the support. But now Ashe is getting a lot of push priority. So Ashe is cashing in now. She's going to get at least 1 plate, maybe 2 in bot lane. They're chasing the Syndra. Syndra going to be able to get a counter kill back up. Looks like she's going for it onto the Ezreal. Okay, so it winds up being a 3-for-1 overall. And it winds up being only 1 plate goes down in bot lane. So that's actually really good. So that that's they definitely traded up as far as gold is concerned. And they stopped the Rift Herald, which is good because if Suning got the Rift Herald, then that would have been at least another 300 gold going over. Don't think Wunder wants to keep fighting this, especially not in the minion wave. So they've got Twisted Fate bot lane now. He does have ultimate. He does not have TP. They've moved Perks to mid lane. I like this adaptation right now. Because Twisted Fate should be able to match the Ashe pretty easily, and Ezreal is not in that much danger against the Syndra. Because the Syndra doesn't have flash. If the Syndra had flash, then she could potentially make a flash play on the Ezreal. So it looks like they might make a trade.
Yeah, I think this is actually pretty cool lane assignment.
Oh, the Drake's not up yet. Drake's still a minute away.
And they just left their dual lane mid to try to make sure that they had the extra members up here.
Are they going to try and contest this?
Suning is roaming up. We'll see if they're here in time.
It's going to be close. I don't think they're going to be in time for to steal, but they may be in time to try and fight. Mickey takes the Rift Herald, so that's atypical. Typically, the jungler takes the Rift Herald, but Mickey got it. They probably were worried that somebody else was going to get caught. Mickey could still use the Magical Journey in order to escape. So they got the Rift Herald for free. That's a really good play. They got Rift Herald for free.
Plus, you're a bard, right? You're going to be one of the supports that
Drake's coming up very shortly now. 30 seconds till Drake. TP on top side for Wunder. So now Bin has TP advantage. That's a really interesting play because now potentially Suning has a 5v4 advantage. They can make a teleport play. So I don't know if G2 wants to try and fight this Rift Herald or not. Sorry, the next Drake.
We're still waiting to see items come online for first completions across the board for Suning. You can see that
it sounds like they, based off the TP, it seems like they don't want to contest this Drake. You see Twisted Fate backing right now as the Drake is spawning. Yeah, they're not going to contest it. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting call. Caps uses his ultimate just for vision to make sure he's not getting a dove or anything.
Caps pops the ghost. He's getting the hell out of town.
Yeah, he kind of had an inkling that maybe Suning was looking for a play on.
So Bard drops the Rift Herald top lane, so they're gonna be trading Drake for top lane plates. This is a decent play because they had the Rift Herald on Bard. They got quite a few plates off of it. They should get this first tower as well. once the plates drop at 14
The
minutes.
turret plates are about to fall in 10 seconds, so G2 should be able to grab that turret for themselves after the fact anyway. And going to be looking at that first turret of the game.
Yeah, as soon as
One
this
building
drops.
very likely towards the Black
Boom.
Cleaver
Okay,
plus
it's gone.
Iceborne.
Okay, so they get first tower. So they trade first tower for Drake.
You know, it's an efficient
Okay, it's a decent play. They're gonna have to contest the next Drake though. You don't want to give 3 Drakes up uncontested. So G2 is on a little bit on a timer right now. They have to contest this next Drake in 4 minutes. So they need to try and get as much gold onto their carries as they can over the next 4 minutes, and then they really do have to fight Suning. And who has a better team fight? It's really dependent upon Bardolt. If Bardolt is like clutch, then G2 potentially has the better team fight. But I think that unless there's like a really clutch Bard ultimate, Suning's got the better team fight.
You're feeling pretty good about just prioritizing armor and then going for your bruise rifles.
You definitely are, as long as you get
Bard does very little damage to the Nautilus.
With Bramble Vest and Iceborne, that's a lot of gold for 0 health, right? You are going to get some from the Black Cleaver, but you know, hopefully your next item after that would be at least some HP. It doesn't have to be MR, but like Deadman's even get that Giant's Belt in there to just have enough flat health to survive.
Got a few flies in the house.
I fully agree with you because Syndra doesn't generally want to be expending the ultimate on the Volibear. It's going to make you too vulnerable. You know,
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
And we can see that, you know, with this build also, it's a really cheap 2 items. So, you know, when Ezreal completes 2 items, you're going to have 2 items very quickly after
This
that.
Bard pick is just putting in so much work. Anytime they try to go for something, they just can't. Ooh, Lee Sin goes in deep.
Engaged there from SOFM, going deep underneath the enemy turret. Ends up having to use his own flash. Now he jumps
There's a
over the
kick
check.
coming out. Why is he going for these Raptors? This is so greedy, but they wind up making it work somehow. They get the mid lane off of it.
Azael, as SOFM does have to use that to disengage there. I can see maybe what he was thinking underneath the tier 1 turret. Yeah, we can go in, try to kick the AD carry back. That's Ezreal. He presses E, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That seemed a little bit too hypey from SOFM.
Oh,
They got the tower, right?
that's a flash out from
That's
Hong
the thing you
Feng.
have to remember is that, yes, it did cost him his flash, but he got Mickey's flash out of it, and they killed the tower because Perks was running and the rest of G2 was trying to
Okay, that's quite a few ultimates cooldowns down, so we don't have Bard ultimate anymore, or TF ultimate, or Graves ultimate. That's a lot of damage on the Sword Art.
Right into the chickens, try to steal away some jungle camps in your face. He's constantly taxing your resources, forcing you to make correct decisions.
All these ultimates should be back up again for the actual Drake fight.
But really, he only has the 1 death. It's not as though he's running it down this game at all. You would expect someone playing like this to have died more against G2, who is such a good team. At
Should be tower going down. Yeah, Ben backs up.
Is making sure that even if these decisions might look a little
So they're pulling up the total gold. So you can see Angels in the lead. Then we got 3 of the G2 members. So yeah, this is really, really close. 500 gold separating these teams right now. Whoop, they're going for it. They're going for the Renekton. That's Flash stun card. That's a very late teleport coming in from the Ezreal.
Ben is just walking away. Perk shoots off a mystic shot. G2 committing a lot to this, but won't.
Yeah, so now they gave up all mid prio right now, so they could get a huge push on mid lane right now.
Mickey X walking through the jungle. That's a Bard. You're not really going to catch him out very easily.
Graves and Volibear both backing right now. Instead of trying to go for mid prio or mid tower damage, they're trying to look for picks instead and get vision down.
And now Hanfeng with the rest of the team feeling perfectly safe here on this Ashe can step up and find some auto attacks in the tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think G2 were really committing to that because they wanted to be able to.
That's half the tower down.
Early, if you got that kill onto Ben, you would be in a good position to do so. But that was flash off caps. You know, that was.
Ooh, that's a nice Bard ultimate onto Angel.
They're looking for Angel here, but the flash
It starts to, they get the flash out of him.
He's not immediately under threat of death.
Twisted Fate ultimate just to get back into lane.
That was Twisted Fate ulti. A lot of tools there from G2 trying to make that pick. Of course, they do get flash.
So typically, like if you can get a flash for your ultimate, that's usually a good play because your ultimate has a way shorter cooldown than flash. So flash has a 5-minute cooldown, and I don't think there's any ultimates in the games that have a 5-minute cooldown. They're all usually like a minute or 2 minutes cooldown. If you have like 3-minute cooldowns. So that gives you a window that you can play around, right? Where you have your ultimate back up before they'll have their flash. So G2 has started this Drake. They don't know that the Renekton is there. So Nautilus goes in. He gets... Oh, he survives, just barely. Ooh, winds up going down eventually, but that's 2 for 1. Oh, man. Jankos can go for the steal here. He can E over the wall into the bush, and they won't see him, and then he can look for a smite. So that's what he does. Steps up, looking for it. Ooh! Okay, Cap stole it. I don't know how Cap stole it, but Cap stole it. So that's huge. This is massive. This is massive. Alright? So the reason why it's massive is because if Suning gets that Drake, then they're 1 Drake away, which means that they can basically put G2 on a clock, where in 5 minutes, G2 has to fight for that 4th Drake. Now G2 can stall for a little bit longer. Now it's 10 minutes before they can potentially threaten the Soul. Oh, they get perks. Wow. Way to thread that hook. So good. So good.
G2 got slaughtered in that fight, only taking down the enemy support. But it's all about the dragon because they were sticking around, and Suning did not actually clear G2 out over the
Yeah, so Suning made a mistake by not getting a ward down in that bush. So when you're on Ocean Rift, you have to get some wards down in that back bush, otherwise the jungler can kind of sneak over that wall and look for a steal. But, you know, Caps coming in clutch. So most people consider Caps to be one of the best mid laners in the world. So in general, like, the best players are usually either Chinese or Korean. There's very few Westerners that are considered to be like top players in the world, but Caps is one of them. Caps comes in, he's only drew a red card, didn't draw the gold card. Nice stuns coming out. We got, oh, the pink ward. So that pink ward was so great. So they wanted to use the blast cone to get over into where the Krugs were, but because Mickey dropped that pink ward, they couldn't hit the blast cone. So that pink ward got them that kill. Oh, Ezreal goes over the wall trying to get the Lee Sin out. Forces the flash. It seems too much. Oh, Ashe is going really well. So Ezreal made a really interesting call to go over that wall to try and force SOFM off the Baron. But like Ezreal is like their main source of DPS. Like they need him in order to be able to burst down the Baron.
Watch Mickey again as he comes out here looking for the pick. They see Angel over there. They pop the ultimate from TF and they are going forward.
They got him just on the edge. Oh, and then because Lee Sin uses his safeguard to the Syndra, that gets the stun, and then the pink ward comes down. And that's an easy kill. Wow. Very well played. Mickey is doing so well this game. He's playing really well.
Mickey warding out the blast cone, getting the kill on Angel there. Unfortunately for them, they did lose perks and got pushed off the Baron, but still a fantastic play. How quick he was with that magical journey, and really on your feet thinking to be able to ward that out.
Most players,
okay, okay, we're back into a little bit of a lull state, so I expect nothing huge to happen until this next Drake comes up. So you can see Caps is trying to push top lane.
75 for 300, that's a good deal.
So G2 could give up this next Drake. They don't have to fight this next Drake. They could just try to farm side lanes, but yeah, it puts them in a bad spot if they just give up this Drake for free. They want to at least try to trade it potentially for like a tower. If they could trade it for like mid tower or top inner tower, that would be worth. But if they're just going to give up the Drake for free, not that worth, in my opinion.
Really change the course of a game. And for Suning, you know they don't want to be losing this one again to another wild card, wild steal. This would be the opportunity for Soul for them if those wild cards.
All right, let's see.
How fortuitous that was for G2. They're happy with that situation.
All ultimates, with the exception of Ezreal's, are up. We have a lot of flashes down. So on G2, only Wunder and Caps have their flash. And on the side of Suning, right now only Angel has his flash. It looks like Sword Art and Bin will have their flashes up for this next Drake fight, which is pretty huge because Renekton with flash is supposed to Renekton without flash. completely different champion. That flash is really needed for a lot of these team fights, like when you're playing Renekton, because the flash ensures that you can get both parts of his E. You get the slice and the dice. If you don't have the flash, then you may need to use the slice to get in, and it's a very short range dash. TP comes down by the Syndra. So it looks like G2 is trying to contest this. That's Nautilus hook going wide. Get the stun down. So that's to pop the stone plate. So now Nautilus is really, really tanky. He's stalling so much time. Wind up flashing out in the end. They get the kill onto Sword Art. Renekton is kind of caught in the pit. Oh, nobody kills him though. He survives with like 5 health. Huangfang is coming in huge now. Wow, they use so many resources on the 2 tankiest members of the team. So they use so many resources on both the Nautilus and the Renekton that eventually Ashe was able to hard carry that game. And now this puts them in a really interesting position because they could go for the Baron, right? The Yankos is still dead for 10 seconds. So they don't have a smite for 10 seconds. Doesn't look like they're going to go for it, though.
And with all the resources being spent to try to take down that support, Suning find the angle to turn around the fight to get in there. This is
so the reason why Nautilus was able to survive for so long was the stone plate, Gargoyle stone plate. So that item is changing next season. So season 11, the item is different. But right now, stone plate provides like so much tankiness, especially for supports, which is one of the reasons why they're changing, because it's just so cost effective for supports. This is why tank supports are like so meta at the professional level. Oh, they kick Perks. Wow. SOFM hard carried that fight too. So it was both Huangfang and SOFF who did a really good job. Syndra got her ultimate off onto Perks. Ended up taking him down. So right now, ooh, force the flash out. That's big. So that's they no longer have Lee Sin kick flash. But they're on soul point. So 3 minutes. 3 minutes is when the game will potentially be decided. Because G2 has to fight. Ocean Drake is just so powerful. Ocean Drake is extremely powerful. Or rather, Ocean Soul. So the reason why for people who don't understand, the reason why they have to fight this next Drake is right now Suning has 3 Drakes. You get 4 Drakes, and that means you get the Drake Soul, which gives you a huge buff that lasts for the rest of the game.
4% bonus healing. Doesn't feel great.
Yep, and if you don't have the setup, it's so tough, right? Because Caps wants to be playing the side lane.
So yeah, the casters are making really good points. So this is like a really favored fight for Suning, because if Suning wins this fight, they get the soul. If G2 wins this fight, they don't get the soul. They just get a Drake. So that like G2 has to, the reward for G2 for winning the fight is way less than the reward for Suning to win this fight. So basically, it's just, you know, the risk versus reward is skewed heavily in favor of Suning right now. Go for these types of plays, but he knows how much tankier he is. If Caps is able to get Death Cap before the next fight, that's pretty huge. You can see he's sitting on 2 needlessly large rods right now. Ezreal looks like he's going towards Death Dance next, so he's looking just to survive. The problem is that, like, I don't know, like, so Nautilus is building tanky, Lee Sin's building tanky, Renekton's building tanky. They don't really have anybody who can shred through tanks that well. I guess maybe the Graves with the Black Cleaver. But yeah, Ezreal needs to get to 4 items, I think, before like things really started turning in favor. Like if Ezreal gets to 4 items, then he can hard carry the game. So that's still a long way off. That's a long way off for him to get to 4 items.
One huge moment, that one play that can turn the fight like we just saw, and SOFM is dialed in and ready.
All right, we're a minute away from huge fight around Drake. So you want to watch like how these teams are pushing the lanes, how they're setting up their vision, how they're denying vision from the enemy team. So mid control is usually considered like ridiculously important. Caps is backing now, so good job by Caps. So usually you want to be backing no less than a minute before the Drake, so that way you can get back out on the map. Cap is actually committing his TP in order to get out here sooner, so they can try and fight for this mid wave, and then use that in order to gain vision down. Oh, so Cap's got his death cap. That's huge. And Ezreal got his death stand, so that's also huge. So yeah, Twisted Fate and Ezreal are both on 3 items. And Syndra is not on 3 items yet. She's only on 2 items in change.
These options, and that's why it's so important for G2 to have the setup to get control of mid lane, and that's why they're fighting heavily for this. We'll see if they can secure this dragon for themselves here. It's
Ben is flanking, so great positioning by Ben in order to flank on the backside right now. SOFM is getting chunked right now. Ooh, Nautilus comes over, winds up getting the Graves. Yanko's going down. Good kiting by Perkz to get back over the wall. He's probably wanting to get E forward once it comes back off of cooldown. Flash comes out from the Ashe, so Ashe no longer has Flash. So Jungler is still up for Suning as the Drake is spawned. So, oh, great Flash, yellow card. They probably wanted the Lee Sin, not the Nautilus. Ben comes in huge, winds up getting shut down though. They still need to kill the Lee Sin if they want to try and go towards this Drake. Ooh! TP comes in from the Syndra, flashes forward, gets Perkz. And now that's going to be Drake going over. So they weren't able to get SOFM. If that gold card hit Lee Sin instead of the Nautilus, I think that was a misclick. If the gold card hits Lee Sin, they can burst the Lee Sin, and then they can potentially go for the Drake. But because Lee Sin stays up, they wind up getting the soul. So now G2 is in a massive deficit. Because the soul is worth thousands and thousands of gold. So even though it only says on the screen that Suning has like a 2,000 gold lead, it's really more like a 4,000 to 6,000 gold lead at least. And it also is actually, the Ocean Soul is probably the worst soul for G2 right now, because the Ezreal is primarily poke damage. The Twisted Fate deals a lot of poke damage. So a lot of the Bard is also poke damage as well. So none of that poke damage is going to stick with the Ocean Soul. So Grievous Wounds becomes essential now. Yeah. This could be really hard for G2 to punch through their front line. So great job by Perkz. Immediately picks up an Executioners.
I love that Perkz immediately goes back to base, buys the Executioners. That is a must-have in this spot.
Both teams itemizing well. It looks like Caps is going for Rapid Fire Cannon for his next item to try and get the increased range on the wild card. Bramble Vest comes out also from Volibear, which is good. I don't like what Perkz is doing though. He's just giving up pressure on mid lane. He's TPing in. A lot of damage on Bard, but he survives just barely. That's huge. Volibear's in the back line. Flash out from the Lee Sin. Ashe Arrow comes in. Renekton's on the back line. Finally, one person drops. Oh god, the Ocean Soul is doing so much work for them right now. They wind up getting 2 kills just barely. But look at the health regen that's coming out. Okay, so the question is, does G2 go for Baron right now? So this is risky. SOFM is down for 30 seconds. But the damage is still up for Suning. They're looking for potentially just a pick, but Suning is smart and not checking it.
And are now going over towards that Baron pit. And they're going to try to look for a pick here. They're hoping they can find someone from Suning.
Yeah, I don't like the call from Perkz to just clear the wave, because Suning knew that G2 was not on the Baron if Perkz wasn't there. So I think that you just start walking towards Baron, even if you don't intend on taking it, and that would potentially draw them up to try and face check the Baron.
2 turrets compared to 4. They'd love to take down this mid lane tier 1. Get that off the board. Use that to shore up the gold a little bit more. 1,500 gold separating the teams here. Baron is up.
Oh, this is so tense. 2,000 gold. 2,000 gold separates the team, but Suning does have the soul. And the soul's worth a lot of gold.
You're no longer in a low risk, low reward situation if you're G2. Yes,
Okay, interesting.
Winning the Drake fight actually gives you
So Syndra went for
if G2 can win a team
Void Staff rather than like Rabadons or something.
Just right back in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's no longer Ocean Soul versus 4% regen. It's Dragon Lasers versus Dragon Lasers, and they're up for grabs.
I think that's probably the right choice. I think that's more cost effective because the Ezreal does have the Death Stance, which gives him MR. Ooh, Mickey's caught out. Barely survives. That's Ash Arrow down though. This is so risky the way they're split up like this. So Suning is losing a lot of minions towards bot lane right now. Wow, Wonder playing with fire there. Huge minion wave dying. Bot lane right now.
Respawn timers if they go for it, and SOFM is just moving aggressively forward here. Knows he can't really be taken down, and look at that regen when he gets his damage out with the Ocean Soul, just kind of flying right back up.
So that was actually a pretty good play for G2 because a bunch of minion waves died to that bot tower.
Both are telling him yes.
3, 2, and 10. Mind and body are in sync. The man is just ready to go on this Lee, and I love watching it. Game's still dead even in terms of gold between these squads. 1,000 gold doesn't really mean anything. 35 minutes into the game, it's the difference in wards.
All right, Elder's up in a minute. Ooh, nice. Okay, so Ezreal's got QSS. That could be really useful against the Ash Arrow. Caps also has Cleanse. So the carries for G2 are in a position where it's very hard to pick them with a single CC ability.
Yep, but he hasn't had to fight yet with this QSS, so it is going to be harder to take him down. The one you might be
Caps has no flash. He's got a spellbook, so he's swapped to exhaust. I'm assuming for the Renekton. If the Renekton tries to dive into the back line, Caps can exhaust him immediately.
So, if he's in a bad spot, he could be in trouble. He's going to have to rely on some really good.
They have to know the Renekton is here. Decent damage, but it's not going to stick.
Bin gets spotted by the sweeper of Mickey X, so G2 is aware of where the Suning top laner is hanging out.
So back to mid control.
Could be used to go over the wall here for the Elder Drake fight. Remember, G2, man, this is a fearless kind of squad. Even if Suning has control over the pit, you know Jankos will be getting in there, going for the 50-50 on that steal. As the red buff is secured.
Oh, Ash Arrow comes out. Ezreal is able to Arcane Shift away. Lee Sin goes in, gets immediately exhausted. Bardot only hits 2. Lee Sin's really, really far away, though. He might go down. Kick comes out onto the Ezreal. He winds up getting away. Right now, G2's got the advantage for sure. Oh, flash forward gets the... That might have been a cleanse from the Caps. They can't get that, they can't get the gold card on anyone, though. So that's flash expended for cleanse. Oh, was it Mikhail's for Mickey that got it? Okay. Ooh, they got the Syndra. Okay, Suning can't fight this anymore. Lee Sin might go down. Nautilus goes in, he might be sacrificial. Stoneplate gets popped. Oh. Yeah, this is going to be Elder going over to G2. G2 played that so slow, so patient. Oh no, they're going to still try to fight for it. 4v5. Lee Sin can steal. His Q smite is really, really good. Oh, that's Ash Arrow going down. Good job by freaking Wonder on the back line. Doing all sorts of work. SOFM is still alive though. He's looking for the kick. Oh, the Drake reset trolls him. He's not able to get the smite. Oh man. SOFM played that beautifully. I'm sorry. Like that was really good play from the Lee Sin. Unfortunately, Angel got caught, and that put them in such a really bad position. But, oh man, G2 played that so well. They had the Mikhails, they had a QSS, they had a Cleanse. They're playing this so well. They realize exactly how they're going to lose the fight. They lose the fight if somebody gets picked with hard CC. So they have so many ways to answer the hard CC. So that makes it so that Suning doesn't have like any like clear ways of getting a pick.
A little bit, and G2 were able to capitalize on it so heavily. SOFM going in, Huangfeng moving forward.
Oh god, they just survived just barely. Great job from Wonder. Ezreal's just free firing. Nobody is getting even close to Ezreal.
As soon as the Ash fell, there was no chance for Suning in this fight. Ocean Soul be damned. G2 came to play.
And G2 gets the Baron off of that as well. So G2 gets Elder, G2 gets Baron. The game is completely flipped on its head now. So it should be... What the heck was that?
Is that this broke? 10,000 damage.
Wait, is that the whole game or is that last night? Because that is insane.
That's a
Yeah.
because it says
I actually don't doubt it if Perks did 10k damage on that fight, because he was free firing the entire time and he wasn't missing that many Qs.
G2 with the Baron.
Caps kind of trolled his ultimate though. He only went like 5 feet with his ultimate. Don't worry, Caps, you didn't see that.
Must defend against a double uber buff G2.
Okay, so they got top inhib down. They're trying to push onto the Nexus towers. Renekton is pushing mid for some weird reason. He's starting to come back.
Ben, you need to get back to the Nexus. You gotta get back over there, man. You gotta help your boys. Suning are truly in a spot.
They don't. So Suning does not want to fight while Elder is up. Elder's got 28 seconds left, 27 seconds.
They've gotta survive.
They do not want to fight.
They need to clear this.
That's Renekton ultimate popped.
Enchanted crystal arrow fired off, looking for some damage onto
20 seconds with Elder. He's going in with the Elder still on.
Wonder into the dive, looking to disable the
Stopwatch.
Wonder's gonna be killed off. Juan
Oh, really good job from Suning. Holy cow.
them running. SOFM goes in.
Nobody has gone down to the Elder yet.
Elder Dragon, but they won't be able to find
They're just dancing on like
Caps into the back line.
small amounts of health.
Caps is gonna be barely escaping. The damage down onto the remaining players. Perks is out. Caps
Wow.
around, looking to finish off the
Suning played that so perfect.
for Suning.
Oh my god, this game is incredible, Flowers.
Suning played that so perfect. Like there was like in 90% of situations, you're gonna lose that fight.
They are on the push here.
With the Elder and the Baron and the gold differential and all of that, somehow Suning pulls out this miracle fight.
Timer is so long. Maybe they just
I mean, with the stopwatches and the stone plates and the CC was perfect. It looks like Suning's going to try to end.
but the question
1 second on Jankos. Jankos is up. Wonder's almost up. Mickey's almost up.
even willing to go for
So the question is, can they stall? Can they stall enough for Caps and Perks to come up? 10 seconds on Perks. He's the one that really needs to be up. Ash Arrow comes in. Misses. Great job by Mickey to stall by making the towers invulnerable. Great job by Jankos going golden right there. He picked up a stopwatch. 1 tower's down. Perks is up though. Second tower just fell. Open Nexus. Syndra's down. They don't have the health bars.
It is 1 for 1. They're trying to kite themselves back. Juan Feng stays alive, using the QSS, keeping himself in a good spot. Caps
Oh, that's Huangfeng going down and Nautilus going down. That's game.
Caps is going in. He uses the ultimate.
Caps TP's the top lane. He can end.
He comes through from G2. They're into the top lane of the base. Perks, baby, knock, knock. Open the hell up. The Nexus is the target.
Perks wins.
Suning's advance is
G2 wins.
resisted.
Holy cow.
Persisted.
Amazing game.
Perks insisted on a win in this game.
Yeah, like this.
is League of Legends,
Yeah.
baby. What a game between G2 and
I can't say it better than what the cast just said.
was incredible.
Look at their faces. Holy cow.
That's why we're here. Anybody ever asks you, what are you doing watching video games at 4 o'clock in the morning? Turn this on. Holy moly.
Yeah, this is one of the best
Man,
games.
not sure hope you didn't miss this game. This was
One of the best games I've seen in a long time. Like this brings back like so much nostalgia, so many memories from like previous like worlds, best of fives and things like that. So good, so good.
Playing out an amazing first 20 25-30 minutes, getting the Ocean Soul. SOF
This has got me hyped now.
his signature style,
If we can get a few more games like this Worlds is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good.
we're gonna lose from there. But the
So,
coordination, the skirmish,
I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. That game was insane. And I am really looking forward to the rest of Worlds. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. This is Randomonium, signing off.